Hey there, scientists! Thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to be doing an activity about diving deep in the Twilight Zone. To help us out, we've got our little eyedropper diver that you've prepared. So before we get started, let's make a few observations and share them with someone who's sitting next to you. If there's no one near you, you can tell a pet, you can tell a plant, or you can just shout it out. So let's look at our diver. What do you notice? Is there air in there? Any water? All right, next we're going to add some pressure to this situation. There's lots of pressure in the Twilight Zone. There's heavy water sitting on top of the deeper parts of the ocean. Okay, now let's squeeze our bottle here to add pressure. What happened? What if you release the pressure? Okay. Well, in science, we always like to repeat our experiments to see if we can learn more, to see if we get the same result. So let's squeeze again, and we're going to take a closer look at what's going on inside the dropper. Let's try again. What happens to the little air bubble as you send the diver down to the bottom? That's right, it gets smaller. But is any air leaving from the dropper? Take a guess or a hypothesis. Is any air leaving this dropper here? Now this next time we squeeze it, we're going to look for bubbles to see if any air is leaving our eyedropper. Let's squeeze again. Do you see any bubbles? Okay, so our air is actually being smushed into a smaller space. That means water is coming into the eyedropper too. That means that there's more stuff inside of the eyedropper. It gets what we call denser. If you think about density, you can think about a ping pong ball and a golf ball. They're about the same size, but the golf ball is much denser. There's more stuff inside. So our diver gets denser as we sink it down into the water. All right, pretty cool, but how does this apply to our scientists exploring out in the Twilight Zone? Let's think about being a scientist and collecting something from those deep areas. What can you think of that lives in the Twilight Zone? Scientists find fish down there, as well as a lot of different kinds of life. When we're looking for fish, we're looking for new discoveries. We're looking for how we can help them and protect their habitat. So it's really important work. But there's one challenge because, like this eyedropper, a fish has a bubble of air in its body. It's called a swim bladder, and it helps the fish adjust where in the water it is, if it wants to go shallower or deeper. So let's now imagine that our diver is a fish. Go ahead and send that fish down to the very bottom. There's our Twilight Zone fish. Now we're an explorer, a scientist, and we would like to learn more about this fish by bringing it carefully up to the surface. Keep a watch on that air bubble or the swim bladder as we bring it up to the top. And what do you notice? Go ahead and say it out loud again. What happens to the air bubble? The air bubble expands, and so does the swim bladder of the fish. That doesn't seem very comfortable if you're a fish, right? Luckily, our scientists found this problem and they figured out a pretty cool solution. Here's our diver again, back down in the Twilight Zone, bringing with them a very special tool. This is a fish decompression chamber. Basically, it's full of pressure once you add the fish in, and when you bring it up to the surface, you can slowly release some of the pressure so that the fish has time to adjust comfortably. That way it has a safe journey to the surface, to the academy, to our Twilight Zone exhibit, where you can see some fish that are from really, really deep. That's pretty cool. All right, now if you're looking for one more challenge to do with your diver bottle here, I challenge you to see if you can get your diver to hang out in the middle of the water. That's what's called neutral buoyancy, where it has the same density as the water. So see if you can do that, and I hope to see you soon at the Academy.